Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel Armor for All. Let's talk about Ghost of Tsushima. Which HDR mode should you use? Dynamic tone mapping on, dynamic tone mapping off, HGG on, and how do we calibrate the PlayStation anyway? With HGG on, off, dynamic tone mapping on? Let's see if we can find it out in this video. So, and as always, it is very hard for my camera to actually really record what is happening on the screen at the moment. So that's so excuse the bad picture quality. I have done a lot of testing in terms of HGIG and dynamic tone mapping on, off, and whatsoever. It is very hard with Ghost of Tsushima, by the way, because of the changing weather condition all the time. It is very hard to find a location which is always the same when you restart the game or when you recalibrate HDR in the PlayStation menu and then you jump back into the game. It can be that the sun is somewhere else, you have clouds suddenly, or it's dark. It is really a little bit of annoying, this real-time weather system. But as always, I did some pictures and videos and we watched this a little bit later. So what I found, and I think we should start with how to calibrate HGIG or dynamic tone mapping in the PlayStation menu anyway. And in this, I have to say, to be very honest, in Spider-Man, in my opinion, there was a big difference how to calibrate HDR in the PlayStation menu. In this game, it is not very obvious, in my opinion. It's very hard, but still, I think that this way, what I show you right now, and I mean you turn off dynamic tone mapping, you calibrate your PlayStation as it should be, or according to the instruction, and then after you have done this, you're done, you turn back on HGIG. So in terms of Ghost of Tsushima, it was very hard actually to see a difference between different calibration modes in the PlayStation. Okay, so I did it with this method, and I also tried it with dynamic tone mapping on calibration in the PlayStation menu, and also with HGIG on in the PlayStation menu. It was very hard to see a difference between the method what I did right now and when you turn on HGIG and then you calibrate your PlayStation to the HGIG menu, or with the HGIG setting on. It was really very hard. So this game has internally no HDR slider, as far as I'm aware, to be very honest. But this was the last time when I checked this. You have the but it's the user interface. Okay, this is not really the brightness from HDR, and this is just the overall brightness. So you have no HDR slider in this game like in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So, and then again, it was so hard to see actually, is this standard again? Yeah. It was so hard to see a difference between HGIG calibration in the PlayStation menu, dynamic tone mapping off, and then the calibration in the PlayStation menu, and then after this turning it on and on again. It was very hard. But in this case, I believe when you do it like this, what we did, again a new scenery. See, great. This is probably very great to test. There is no difference at all here. Just give me one moment. Here you can see difference. Can you see this on the camera? I hope so. So HGIG is just making, so just keep in mind, we turned off dynamic tone mapping, calibrated in the PlayStation 5 menu. After the calibration, we turned it back on. Now when I turn it off, you can just see here the clouds getting a little bit, it's not very much, and now it's changing again. This is what I mean with very hard Ghost of Tsushima. But what you have seen, hopefully, it was just a couple of things from the clouds changed its color. Not very much, not color, the brightness, not very much, but visible. So it was a much better look with HGG on. On the other hand, what's happening now, so keep in mind we did it with dynamic tone mapping off. When I now turn on dynamic tone mapping on, you see how bright the picture gets. This is something, again, some people saying, oh, with my method, the picture is too dark. To be honest, I think with my method, the contrast is really, really great. And with contrast, I mean the difference between darker areas and brighter areas. Because what's happening now, dynamic tone mapping on, everything gets brighter, but it doesn't look as, how should I say, punchy anymore like it was before. It looks a little bit washed out again, in my opinion. Okay, so this is like you increase the gamma on a display, which is not nice. But I would say let's check out the test picture or test videos what I did. And again, it was very hard to find always the same location. I was very lucky with the first part with the sun, but even that, the sun was moving all the time. And here, where's the moon anyway? Here. So now we have dynamic tone mapping on, off. The whole picture gets darker, okay? So between dynamic tone mapping on and HGIG, and here this is again the same. So whole picture gets darker with dynamic tone mapping on, and again we calibrated it with off. So maybe we have to do this in the PlayStation menu now with on and do the test again. And I will try this, of course. But let's have a focus here. This is really nice, Lavera. But HGIG at the moment is doing nothing again because it's getting darker here in the background. And before, we don't have a moon anymore. Nothing. So there's nothing actually what can go brighter at the moment. This is why, there's nothing. Unfortunately. No, really, no chance. Okay, you watch the videos, what I did, and I change the internal settings from the PlayStation 5. So you're back, that's great. And I changed the internal calibration from the PlayStation 5 to dynamic tone mapping, which means I turned it on, calibrated the PlayStation, and now we are back here. And let's see what is happening here. This is the same, the picture gets much darker, but to be very honest, it looks really dark at the moment without dynamic tone mapping on, to be very honest, not sure. This is always the problem. You actually don't know what brightness in a game is actually the right brightness at the moment because you're not the developer. You have no idea oh, this was just a fly. You have no idea what brightness they're using in this very moment, okay? But I can understand when people saying, hey, I can't, this is too less. I can't see anything. And yeah, I fully can understand this, but the same happening at the moment here. I'm turning it on and it gets much brighter. And here with dynamic tone mapping on, with HGIG on and off, just keep in mind we did it with this option, the calibration in the PlayStation menu. Just this part here is getting a little bit brighter. very hard to see, because now it changed again the brightness, or the moon, or whatever this is. Can I go over there? Come on, where's my horse? Come on, where are you? Okay, just go here, and then we give it another try. Again, with Spider-Man Miles Morales, it was so easy. Oops, I need to take care. It was so easy to see a difference in here. Can you see now the difference, what's happening here? Then HGG on off. Just this part here, where the moon is, or whatever, is getting brighter. With dynamic tone mapping on, the whole picture is getting brighter. And okay, let me. To be very honest, I still think dynamic tone mapping on is too bright. It is too bright. It will destroy the nice contrast from the picture. And again, I can understand when people saying, hey, this is too dark, because if you play this on a sunny day in a bright room, you barely can't see anything, okay? So, but I'm on the other hand, with my room here, almost no light because I'm not allowed to go out. Perfect for my dark room, really perfect. And I still have the nice effects from HGG. And yeah, that's all what I can say. In my opinion, again, when you calibrate your PlayStation 4, and I show this you again, just to give you an idea what I'm talking about. And the good thing, by the way, about the PlayStation 5 is for testing, it is good that it stays always in HDR. For my testing, it's good. But anyway, I have a different opinion about why do I have actually HDR all the time, even in a server, in my menu or whatever, in my store. Anyway, dynamic tone mapping off. You calibrate the PlayStation according to the instruction. After this, you turn HGG on. So with Ghost of Tsushima, it was very hard for me to see a difference between this method, or you turn HGG on and then you calibrate your PlayStation and then you watch the game, okay? So keep this in mind. It was very hard for me. Maybe there's a better scene, maybe in complete darkness or whatsoever. Maybe I can see a little bit more difference, but I can't really say which is the better option. I still think that turning it off, calibrating the PlayStation after this turning it on, is a little bit better in Ghost of Tsushima. For sure, it is much better in Spider-Man, because I showed you this in my other video. And if you haven't seen it, so just watch it, because it's very interesting what I found here. And yeah, here it was very hard, but still, in my opinion, dynamic tone mapping on is not the right way. It looks just too washed out. But again, that's just my opinion, and I would like to know your opinion, so put it in the comments. And as always, subscribe to my channel, because you really help to grow my channel when you subscribe. And yeah, so put also in the comments what games you like to see as next, because I got plenty of games, plenty of ideas, but maybe there's something what you like to see. I'm planning to do maybe a couple of Borderlands 3 I got and stuff like this, and this is running on 120 frames per second. So this was to look into it, to be honest. But again, let me know what you think. And that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching me. Take care. See you next time.